Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Srujan Study Circle. So in our today's video, we are going to learn about globalization. Now, what is globalization in simple words? It is a word used to describe the growing interdependence of two economies, people, culture, brought together by the cross-border trades of in goods and services, technology and flows of investments of people, development and information. Now, let me divide this statement into three parts. Now, the first part is, now what is the word used for? It is used for to show describe the growing interdependence of two economies, or in simple words, two countries. Let's take an example of a country XYZ and a country ABC. Now, this country is dependent on this, and the vice versa is also true. Now, the second statement is of what it is interdependent. It is interdependent on culture and population. How now the third statement is how they are brought together by the cross-border trade of what? The goods and services, technology and the investment in the people, development and information. Now, in our today's video, we are going to learn about globalization in deep. So, without wasting any other time, myself Srujan Vadvi and the founder of Srujan Study Circle, let us dive into our today's video titled, What is Globalization? So, before we start and begin our video, I want to tell that I have divided this video into these many chapters. You can watch it according to your time. So, I request you to watch the entire video as it is full of information and very useful. Okay, and if I talk in Hindi, I will give the subtitles. Okay. So, before going ahead, I want to ask you a question that how is the nuclear bombing in Hiroshima and Nagasaki by in Japan, which was done by the US during the World War II, related to globalization? To find out its answer, watch this video till the end. Okay, now let's go ahead and see the classification of globalization into three periods. The first one is Globalization 1.0, which is known as Age of Discovery, which started in 1492 and ended in 1800. The second one is Globalization 2.2, which started in 1800 and ended in 2000. And the Globalization 3.0 started in 2000 and is still going on. Now, there's another question which arises by looking at this, that did the people before 1492 didn't trade with each other? The answer is yes, they of course did it. Some of the proofs or examples that historians give and argue that the globalization had started way before 1492 are the as we all know, the migration of humans started around 200,000 BCE to 18,400 BCE from East and South Africa to other continents of the world except Antarctica. I have made the video about world history. You can watch it here. This map depicts how our ancestors moved from the East and the South Africa to other parts of the world according to time. So, if you want me to make a dedicated video on this topic, I will bring it for you as soon as possible. Okay, now a second proof is the trade between Indus Valley civilization and the Mesopotamian civilization. We have many proofs of this trade, so as you can see on the screen. Okay, so let us take a look at some of the proofs of the trade between IVC and the Mesopotamian civilization. First were the clothes, which were grown in the Indus Valley and were also found in the Terka, a region near the modern day Syria, in the which were traded around 2nd millennium BCE. The second was the evidence of the imports from the Indus Valley civilization to Ur,
which is again a site in the Mesopotamian civilization, which dated around 2350 BC. Some other objects which were made with the shells, such as the Trubinella pyram and the Faciloria trapezium in the Indus coast, also have been found in the Mesopotamia, dating around 2500 to 2000 BCE. Next is the import of caerennial beads from the Indus to the Ur. These caerennial beads were made with etched design in the white, which was the technique developed by the Harappans. These caerennial beads were imported in the Mesopotamia, which were found in the Ur tombs dating to 2600 to 2450 BCE. Next is the importation of the lapis lazuli by Egypt. These were originated in the northern Afghanistan, which was also a part of Indus Valley, and had to be transported across the Iranian plateau to Mesopotamia and then the Egypt. Now, several Indus seals were also found in the sites of Mesopotamia, particularly in Ur, Babylon, and the Kish. Now, in the Akkadian Empire records, they mention timber, carnelian, and ivory as being imported from the Meluwa by the Meluan ships. Now, this Meluwa is a term referring to the name of Indus Valley civilization. These were some of the proofs of the trade between the Indus Valley civilization and the other civilizations. The third proof is the Silk Route. It was the route which the Europeans and the Asians used to trade with each other. Next is the Empire of Alexander the Great, which was around 334 BCE, which stretched from the present day North Macedonia to present day Pakistan, and also he conquered some parts of North Africa and especially Egypt. Now, the last but not the least proof that the historians give is the Mongol Empire, or the invasions of Genghis Khan on other countries. The Mongol Empire was one of the largest empire existed in this world. During the reign of the Genghis Khan, it was little smaller than its greatest extent in 1279. The countries which were occupied in this greatest extent in 1279 are Mongolia, China, parts of Myanmar, Romania, Pakistan, Ukraine, Belarus, Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, Iran, Iraq, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, and Russia. Okay, so these were the 5 major proofs that historians give and argue that the globalization before 1492 had already started, and they referred this as the archaic globalization or pre-Columbian globalization. Now, one which I referred in the beginning of the video is of an American political commentator and author Thomas L. Friedman. According to him, he had divided into those 3 classifications that I showed before, and according to some historians, the globalization's first wave started even after the age of discovery, that is in the early 19th to 20th century. Now let us come to know about some major events which took place during the age of discovery in our today's video. The second and the third part of this video will be uploaded if this video reaches about 17 likes. The first is the colonization started around 15th century by the Portuguese. They colonized a town in the North Africa, and then slowly some other empires such as the Spanish also started, followed by the Ottoman Empire, then followed by British, French, Dutch, and then the Russian Empire also started to grow and colonize over other countries.
They targeted some weaker countries and less developed countries than them, and they had major two factors which helped them to conquest and conquer the land of other people. The two factors were the advanced weaponries and disease. Now let us take an example for the conquer or the colonization in the American continents. The Americans did not have so much developed weapons and armors to fight against these Europeans. So these Europeans slowly started to expand their empires in these continents.
The Europeans were already affected by the diseases such as flu and smallpox, and already had also developed the immune power to fight against these diseases. But the people who were native to the isolated continents of Americas were not affected by these diseases and didn't have the immune power to fight against those. So they died because of these, and was a boon to the European colonizers.
So the next major event which took place in this age of discovery is the globalization of food. Many crops which were grown in the American continents were not grown anywhere else in the world. So these Europeans started to transport them in Europe. Some of the food which were globalized were potatoes, sweet potatoes, chilies, tomatoes, groundnuts, soya beans, maize, etc. Now, the next event is the standardization of the gold, or the gold standard. So now what is this? So it all began in England. They fixed their currency, sterling pound, to some a specific amount of gold, and the other countries fixed their currency's value to the sterling pound. So in total, the gold was an international standard for trade. The next event which took place in this globalization 1.0 is the scientific. So this scientific revolution began in the field of astronomy by an Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus in 1543. He proposed a theory called heliocentric system, which stated that Earth and other planets revolved around the sun. Okay. Next, an Italian scientist Galileo Galilei observed 4 moons of Jupiter in 1610 and also supported the theory of Nicholas Copernicus. Next, an English physician William Harvey proved that heart pumped the blood all around the body in 1628. Next, a Dutch inventor Christian Huygens invented the first pendulum clock, which was more accurate than other clocks at that time, in 1656. Next, an English scientist Robert Hooke published a book called Micrographia, and which he published in 1665, and he was the first one to tell about or describe about the plant cell. Next, an English physician Isaac Newton proved that the white light is made up of different colors. Next, a Dutch scientist Anton van Leeuwenhoek invented a powerful microscope which zoomed 270 times more than an ordinary microscope at that time in 1676. Last but not the least, again the English physician Isaac Newton was able to know about the presence of gravity in 1687. So these were the major events in the scientific revolution. Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, discovered the presence of India in 1497 and set a new maritime trade route for Portuguese till India. And this Portuguese empire colonized some part of India, or the present day Goa, one of the 28 states of India, in 1510. In this period, the first wave of industrialization also started in Britain in 1760. In the textile industry, the flying shuttle was invented by John Kay in 1733 itself, but came to use in this period. and spinning jenny was invented by James Hargreaves in 1764 in England. Then the steam engine, to be specific, the use of steam engine in the textile industry, which was started by Richard Arkwright in 1786, boosted the speed of industrialization in the textile industry. The other discoveries or inventions were of Abraham Darby, who discovered that coke was a better fuel than the charcoal to smelt iron. Then the improvised model of the steam engine by James Watt in 1764, which was used for pumping out water in the coal mines, was first ever invented by Thomas Newcomen in 1712. The seeds of industrialization had already broke out in the early 1700s. Like in 1750s in the Britain, the turnpikes, which were the private roads, were built, but they soon needed repair as they were not of the higher quality. For this, to solve this problem, and Scottish engineer John McAdam invented a new or developed a new method for constructing roads, which he referred as macadamization. In 1810, he mixed several items and made a road which was smooth and a hard surface to travel. Now, as the industries expanded, the goods of heavy loads were need to be transported from one country to another, such as coal and iron. But the rivers did not flow at the direction which they wanted to be, so they dug canals instead. So the first modern canal system was built in France in 1681, which they referred as to Canal du Midi, as you can see on the screen. By 1800s, 7,000 kilometers of canal system was there in Britain, and also the US started to build canals in it. Now, these were the major events which took place in the Globalization 1.0. If you want to make me to make the second and the third part of this, then make sure to like this video and make this video reach till 17 likes. And let me answer to the first question in this video of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bombing. So, how is it related to globalization?
In spite of crippling damage, the United States fleet, augmented by British, Australian and Dutch units, set out to find the enemy. In the battles of the Coral Sea and Midway, the Japanese advance was halted. Even as the enemy made fast his grip on Hong Kong, Burma, Manila, Singapore, the Allies began the long journey back at Guadalcanal. Step by step, the Japanese were beaten.
Because the industry expanded and the scientific revolution happened during this globalization, the humans were capable to make or invent the nuclear bombs. And because of the globalization, transportation was easy, and so the America dropped nuclear bombs and attacked the areas of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. Now I will meet you with the next video soon, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and share this video if you have enjoyed it. I will meet you with the next video very soon. Till then, take care and thank you so much for watching. Bye.